Oh, but let's do this. If I talk like this the whole time, would it be weird?
It's very weird right now.
Okay. Hey, welcome to Couch on Fire.
I'm keeping that in. I swear to God.
Oh. Oh, so we're rolling. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Nice. Yeah.
So it sounds like story time. Butterface Beard Company. What happened?
Yes.
What happened?
Well, brief history lesson. So, I have I have a little bit of psoriasis. Like this, I get my skin flakes really bad in certain areas, and I couldn't grow a beard. So I went on Pinterest like everybody else. That's what seems like everybody does, or
I don't know what Pinterest is. No, I mean I know what it is, but I don't know how to use it. It's just it's not a thing that's in my life.
That's fine. It just kind of tells you like what foods to eat, or if you can type in recipes and things like that. Anyway, long story short, I made a like a beard balm, like something I can exfoliate, but not really exfoliate because I'm a man that likes reality shows, right? So I don't want to, like exfoliate every night with a brush. So okay. I made this stuff.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I exfoliate every day with cedar wood.
Well,
cedar wood in my soap, and it is delightful.
Well, that is a man's thing. But at the time, I didn't know anything about cedar wood. I didn't know that you could go outside and cut a tree down and just rub it on your, the sap on your face like you do, Alex, like a man. I wish I could see you right now.
Because the gags are coming. You got that one right on the head.
Oh my God, I just know. Memes everywhere. Anyway, so I made this stuff to fill in my beard, but also fix my psoriasis. So it actually started working. My wife and I were talking. She was just like, a lot of people have these problems. Why don't you sell it to your friends? So I kind of started telling my friends. I believe you weren't the first person I told about this stuff, but you were the first person I told about the business. But at the time, I didn't have a name, and I was just kind of selling it to some of my local buddies because I was a store manager at the time. And I was selling it to my employees and then my other store managers, and they were digging it. So then I decided, maybe I can just go to craft fairs and things like that and sell it. And then that's when I came up with the name Butterface. First it was Butterface Co., which was really dumb. I went through stages like every other business, but then I decided to do Beard Company because I eventually wanted to make more than just, oil for your face. I wanted to make shampoo, pomade, shaving creams, and things like that.
I've still got some of your shampoo. It's quite tasty.
It's amazing. It sucks because I'll get to that. And yeah, so it started really good. I started advertising it on Facebook. I started putting it on Instagram, telling more people about it, and it started picking up traction. So I was like, okay. Then people started buying it. And I was like, all right. Then I started shipping literally all over the U.S. I went to Kansas. I went to L.A. I think was one of the farthest ones was L.A. I take that back. The farthest one that I shipped was Ireland. And that was towards the end of the career of Butterface. I shipped it to Ireland because I started international shipping. It started getting a little overwhelming for me because I was by myself. I have trust issues when it comes to business. I've worked in retail all my whole life, and I've seen people try to do a project together and it just never works out. And I'm so scared to do that with people. That's why it took me a long time to do this podcast with you, because I'm just scared. My trust issues with people are just, sometimes you can't trust family, or sometimes you just can't trust your friends. You think you know them your whole life, and you're just like, oh, but then it just doesn't work out.
And then how would it have this huge vulnerability here with the finances that I'm pinning my family's finances upon? Please don't rob me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, and there's no contract. It's all verbal. Because we're,
Yeah, you're doing that wrong, by the way. Contracts should be step one.
Oh, well, I know. So with that said, I just decided to do it myself. and which was fine. I made the product, shipped it out. I had a couple. I think out of the hundreds that I've shipped out, there was like 2 customer bad feedbacks. But since I've been in customer service my whole life, I mean, I fixed those problems, and it was great. I ended up making a big deal with a local barber shop down here. One of their clients went in there, and the guy smelled it on him, and he was like, "This smells fucking amazing. Who made this? What is it?" And the guy told him. I went and met with him. I gave him a sample, and then I met with the owner of this barbershops. Now he owns 4 barbershops in Charlotte, and one of them is like right next to the basketball stadium. So it's like a really big thing down here. And they wanted to sell my product.
Yeah.
Now, this was my first big deal. This is my first big thing, my first business meeting, and I turned it down. Because in my mind, it's the first one. They'll come back with a better one, or I'll get it somewhere else. It shows that people are interested in my product. So I turned it down. Now, I also turned it down for other reasons. The money just wasn't right. I did the math. I was literally only making like maybe 50 cents less than what I would have made if I sold it myself. And I don't want to do that. Even though I should have, because I would have got my name out there a little bit more.
And the logistics on that, with it being an independent chain of barbershops.
Yeah.
Like it becoming a local thing like that, it could very easily have become like an Old Bay for Maryland.
Yeah, it could have got really big. And I think one of the things, there's so many companies out there that sell beard oil, and I think the biggest thing that helped me was the groundwork that I did by myself. Like I went out there and handed samples out. I did this and I did that. But the name, everyone loves the name. Like you can go and get like, there's all these, oh, this is Beard Co. or, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but there's certain beard companies that are like, oh, it's just simple stuff. But mine was clever because, you can use it as an innuendo for certain things, or you can it's just a funny name, so
yeah.
They love the name, and I think that was the biggest thing. My downfall with the company. So once that happened, I still had business.
Yeah. So you turned down this potentially huge business deal, over the money not being quite right, and a couple of other reasons. And your next, what was your next move from there?
Well, after that, just keep doing what I'm doing. Just keep selling it. I have my locals, my regulars. Every business, one of the things that I learned when I was briefly in college was every business kind of plateaus. It's eventually just going to get like where you're not making any money, or you're just making the same money. You're not really accelerating. You're just kind of there. Maybe it dips down a little bit, but it's how you get back from that. And so I was plateaued for a while, and I was kind of getting discouraged. So I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I am by myself. I don't have a partner to say, hey, no, Rob, just keep doing this. It's going to be bam. And that goes back to the main problem, which is I didn't have a partner to do events with me. So I was doing events by myself. And if you got to piss, you got to piss.
That's a rough scenario to be in, like going to the events as like a consumer by yourself. Like that's a scary enough proposition, but you were there for a business by yourself, trying to advertise and get your name out there. That's a problem.
Sorry about the fuzziness again.
Oh, it's not a big deal.
So that was the biggest thing with that, and that was kind of the downfall of it. So another big event that happened to me was there was it happened twice to me. There was I got an email from a company that worked for it was like some kind of American music festival. Here, take it. Oh my Lord. Sorry. I'm taking care of my daughter.
No worries, man.
There was like a music festival. It's American Choice Awards. That's what it was. American Choice Awards. Some lady contacted me and said, hey, we like your name. Somehow we heard about your product. I was wondering if you can send us a whole bunch of free product to give to the actors and actresses. when we give them gift baskets, because when they stay in the hotel, I guess they get free gift baskets. I mean, the perks of being famous, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, and then they were like, if you fly out, we'll give you a free ticket for the show. But I had to pay for the fly out to LA and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, how much product do you need? And they told me, and I was like, man, that's a lot. I don't want to do that. I don't really, I'm at that plateau stage. If I give away free product, I'm definitely collapsing right now. So I was like, there's just no way. So I turned that down. Then I got a letter from the British GQ magazine. I guess the guy that I sent it to, at that time, I just sent it to someone in Ireland, and he does, he's kind of like a YouTuber, but he's not a YouTuber. He's just a blogger, and he just does product reviews from the U.S. and a whole bunch of different countries, and he liked the product. And he had just happened to know someone from this magazine, and they were like, oh, this guy gave us a sample. We want to put you in this magazine. And I never knew this. And a lot of people, I guess you don't know this. If you get offered to be into a magazine, you pay for it out of your pocket. They just do the article.
That's a fact.
And I didn't know that.
You're paying for your own advertising. And that's the shadiest shit ever. That's a large portion of how these business, like magazines and stuff, continue to operate today, is because they're making the people they're writing articles about pay to have the article run.
Yeah.
It's not every time, and there's a lot of exceptions to that. It's kind of if you know the right people, it'll get waived.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, so that when that happened, I was so excited. I put the letter on Facebook. I let people read it. People were congratulating me. This was a big deal. But then once I finally got to talk to them and everything, they were like, oh, okay, well, just for $150, we'll put a little picture of you and your product in the corner of this page as listed as one of the best, best smelling beard oil products in the United States. I was like, oh, well, I don't want to spend $150. Remember, I'm plateauing. So
well, no. That I'm going to argue with you on that one. The $150 for a national level, an international level magazine running their national print, $150 for that kind of advertising is paltry. I know. That was a deal, sir. And not just that, I know. But the advertising that would have created the business was gonna cripple you in the good kind of cripple, where it's, I can't keep up with demand.
So that it comes full circle what I was talking about. I'm by myself. This is my first business endeavor, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I don't have anybody to really talk to about it. I mean, I've picked your brain, I've picked some people's brains, but it's just like, let's just say timeline. I've been plateauing for probably about 2 months now, and then all this stuff started happening, and this is great. This is making me feel good, but my mindset is, I don't know if I can handle this. I just found out my daughter's autistic. I need the health insurance for my job. If I did something this big, I would have to quit my job and do this full time, which was the plan all along. But now it's starting to get to scary territory because it's about to happen. And yeah. I kind of freaked out because I was by myself. I didn't have a partner that was like, let's do this together. Unfortunately, my wife wasn't, I love my wife, but she really wasn't on like my side because of my daughter being autistic and because I need to provide for my family. And she just didn't see that this could possibly be a big thing. But it's not going to be a big thing right now, but it will be a big thing. And
if British GQ is going to run your ad, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And no, you're right. I mean, there's no argument there. And because of that, that was the downfall. After that, I kind of slowly stopped advertising my stuff. I started getting more busier at life. I started getting lazier with things. I still did the orders that happened. Then someone finally came up to me and said, hey, I got your product. Can we buy your product? And I was just like, nah, I'm kind of not really doing that much more. It's more of a hobby. And he was like, well, I love your name. And I own rights to my name, by the way. He was just like, can we buy all your product and buy your name? And I was just like, oh, well, I put $2,000 into this when I first started, and I definitely made that back. And so I sold them all the rest of my product. I sold them my name. Funny story, I actually just got an update on this whole thing a couple of days ago, which is,
oh boy,
he the person that bought all this stuff, he wanted to sell me back my name.
What?
He contacted me and said, "Hey, your name's really not working out for us, so we just wanted to know if you wanted it back. We'll only, just buy back 30%. Like basically, like I would just whatever he gave me, I only have to give him 30% of it back to get my name back.
That's a hell of a deal, as well.
Well, it's just, well, I haven't decided yet. I haven't responded back to him because this is literally like a week ago. So, because Butterface Beard, or just Butterface itself, it's a really cool name, and I would like to, I still know how to make the stuff, so it's not like I don't know how to do it. And maybe sometime later in life, I could totally do this again with a partner.
The question I have that's holding you up right this moment is stability.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just it goes back to what we're talking about. It's failure, but it's also
a fear of failure.
Well, everybody has a fear of failure. I don't care who you are. Everybody has that little bit of fear of failing.
Absolutely.
And I failed a lot in my life, and I've finally been doing good. But I think the biggest thing is it's not. I guess maybe it's not a failure. It's just more of a letdown, a fear of letting people down. I don't want to let my wife down. I don't want to let my daughter down. And I know if I get consumed by this, I won't focus on work. I won't focus on trying to make more money for her. I won't focus on things.
That would be making more money for her, though. Conceivably. One could definitely argue. If you were making your money back and you were operating in the black, that is gainful employment.
Yeah. It's scary.
And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong here. Like, stability is critical with a family. And that's a huge stress button in a relationship, is what kind of stability can my partner help provide. So like, I'm not trying to rekindle any old fights or anything, but like I'm devil's advocating here.
No, I mean that's
just for the record.
No, I mean I agree with you, and I also disagree, but that's why we have a podcast. But it's just one of those things where I feel like, like I have to learn from these mistakes, and I definitely learned from it. There's a lot of things that I'll do differently, and you definitely put it on shine so everyone knows that I did make these mistakes, and hopefully I do learn from them.
What's this hope for? You're in control of it.
It's just weird for me because my story. A lot of people don't know my story. I came from a lot of nothing, and I fucked myself up so much in my life. I had to rely on friends. I was homeless for a while. I lived in this guy Brian Bamford's closet for months, and I've done a lot of damn things in my life. So when I finally start going straight and I get an opportunity to excel, I kind of held myself back after I was doing so well.
It's the fear of success then.
I guess that's what it is. And I honestly believe, and I've told my wife multiple times, I honestly believe that if I had another person with me to push me, I will always do something. Like, I like writing. I like coming up with stories. And you tell me all the time, well, write them fucking down. Do something about it. Stop talking about it and just do it. And so I have been writing down my stories. I have been doing it. Not 100% of the time because I am a busy person, but I'm finally starting to push myself. And I think in the end, Butterface, I started it great. I ended it badly, but I learned so much from that experience. The next time I ever go into business, it will be with a partner, but I have to trust them, obviously. But I definitely feel like I have to open up and let other people's ideas come in, because I have my own ideas with things, and it's scary. And I need to stop using my daughter. I love her to death, and I hate to say this, but I use her as a crutch. I can't do this because she's there, and I know I know these things. These are common sense things. I understand. I know these things. I don't say them out loud enough, and I'm totally saying it on this podcast.
Yeah,
right now,
yeah, right.
So.
And you're putting the poker to yourself with accountability there.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty bold and strong thing to do. I am gonna counter with one specific.
Okay.
If you're making $1 million a year, who the fuck needs to pay for health insurance?
This
You got
is
the
true.
money to cover it. Like, if you're that worried about coverage at that point, just buy fucking health insurance. You know.
Well, I think I would rather just go 0 to 100 and not go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these steps. I want to go like every other American. They want the end result, but they don't want to go through the process.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. So yeah. But side note, after this Butterface thing, and Alex, you know this, the money that I got from Butterface, I tried to invest in another company. Well, not a company. I tried to start another business. And I actually involved somebody else that was going to do it with me. And that totally fell through immediately. It was only like a couple weeks old, maybe a month. And that was that taco stand thing that I wanted to do. I love food. I love passion food. I'm a butcher. So I love cutting meat. I love just doing things with food. And I have ideas upon ideas on businesses because when I was young, my grandfather used to tell me, don't work for the man, be the man. And that resonated in my brain to this day. And so I always have that. And it just, but I've learned from Butterface. I'm sorry, people still ask me to this day. That's why I wanted to do this. Hey, you still sell the products? Or, hey, and I don't still sell the products. I don't really have that much of the product left. I did teach one of our close friends, Greg Mack, how to make it because he travels a lot and he wanted to buy a whole bunch from me. And I was like, here, I'll teach you how to make it so you can always make it. It's very simple. You can honestly look up the recipe online. It's one of those things where, oh, I don't need to buy that. I can make that. Are you really going to make it though? It's like, really? You're going to go home and make soap out of, lye and fat.
Yeah, you want to play with lye and burn yourself? Yeah, what a great idea.
Dude, that shit is no joke. Remember that soap I gave you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never. So, I don't know.
Best goddamn soap I've ever had in my life.
After talking about this, it was pretty good. I still have the recipe for that. So, after talking about this, I think, I probably will get my name back. I'll probably spend a little bit extra cash, at least get my name back because it's mine. I own it. And I still get stuff in the mail all the time, like Capital One sends me shit. Like, oh, Butterface Beard Company, you want to, or beard products, you want to.
Yeah, you want to open a credit line?
Yeah, of $200,000. I'm like, I can't even get a house? I can't even get a loan from the lender that high. Like you're telling me.
Because it's got corp attached to it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe in the future, I will venture into that again, and because I definitely had good aspirations with it. I had so much I wanted to do with it. As a brand itself, like I wanted to go from beard oil to shampoo to all the way to shaving stuff because a lot of people
and start expanding out. Yeah.
My end goal was to be in Targets and Walmart, and I hate to say this, but there's brands in Targets and Walmart, and they all suck. By the way,
they're not good quality.
They
don't suck. They're just not the high quality that came from your product.
Well, the thing is, in the lack of sense and the lack of, like, it's literally, it's like, oh, it's almond oil with cedar wood. Everybody does cedar wood. No offense to cedar wood. I know you use it. It's fine. It smells good. But sometimes you want to smell like fucking bubble gum, and I just want to smell like fucking bubble gum. Like,
it says the diabetic.
I'm on that keto diet.
Whatever's helping, man. Honestly.
So that's
whatever
pretty
helps.
much the story that I wanted to tell because people have been asking me what happened, and and I'm more than glad to educate people on my great mind of endeavors all the way to my failures because I totally dropped the ball. I would say 3 times. 3 times. So
I don't know.
there it is.
I don't know. No, there's way too much learning experience there for you to say failures. You know, I can't address those as that because of that specifically. Like they're not failures; they just weren't successes. And there were interactions that occurred that impacted you negatively, or not as positively as they could have at the time, but you learn from them, which is kind of more valuable because you'll be there correctly next time.
Yeah, I mean, if someone was listening to this out of nowhere and they were like, I want to start a business, and this is what the podcast that they listen to for some reason, I would say this: definitely don't be afraid of success. Definitely don't be afraid of failure. But the biggest thing is have someone, a partner. It could be your spouse. It could be something. Like I understand that you want to do things on your own, and that's fine because, if you want something done right, you do it yourself kind of thing. But it's so much easier and honestly, like, if I had another brain with me to tell me, hey, don't do this, I would have, who knows? This conversation, I could have been in my beach house right now. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's possible. Just
like
British GQ, Alex, after all.
Yeah, Alex and I could be, in Dublin, Ireland right now.
Throwing beers at
wenches. Sorry, I don't know why I think wenches are in Ireland.
It's one of the last places that still says it. I don't know.
I just have this image of, I'm sure Ireland's probably beautiful and the people are probably great, but I just have this image of I just have this image of the Renaissance Festival. I don't know why. I just
That's
feel like people
racist.
walk around with a pint in their hand and a turkey leg in the fucking other hand.
You make that shepherd's pie and you're a lot closer to accurate. I fucking love shepherd's pie, man.
But hey, this podcast is going to change a lot. Like I said, I was afraid to do things alone, and I'm doing this with you. I mean,
Here we are.
We have different takes on things. You're totally, I have a simpler, different take, and you have a more educated take on things. And
I don't know about more educated. Jesus Christ.
But, and eventually we will have arguments and things like that. But that's what makes this great. And I feel like our friendship, because it stood the test of time since, the 90s, that no matter what happens, I just know this will be a good relationship. So it's just, you got to have something like that when you go into business with someone, if you are wanting to go into business with someone. And I would definitely say this, like, I love my wife. I've heard so many horror stories of like husband and wife going into business together, and I just don't know. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, fuck that 100%.
I would love for her to help. She can help me, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna, yeah, I don't know about all that.
It's too many crossing of wires there. Like, keep your personal and your professional.
Yeah. And, it's just all about disagreements too. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the Butterface story. I mean, I know you like the product, and,
It was fantastic. Like, I reviewed it on my YouTube channel at the time. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah, it was on my website. And all these people can watch the YouTube video on my website.
Those tutorials are still up. They still draw viewers.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's weird. I left them up. I'm never gonna make enough money for YouTube to pay me, and I don't have enough subscribers for YouTube to care anymore because they changed the fucking system. And I'm just like, I'll leave them up just because.
Every other week they're changing the fucking system, or every other week they're doing something differently. So eventually,
that's another topic of conversation. Fuck YouTube. Let's start there.
It sucks because, like, I talking to people like that I know at work and my wife, and we get all of our news and information from YouTube right now. At least I do. I can't speak for you, but for me, like, if I want to know what's going on in the world, I just watch certain YouTubers that cover the news, or I just watch a video that if you type it in on Google, the first thing comes up is YouTube. So it sucks. It's great in a way. It's wonderful, but I can see the struggle as a creator, how bad it is, because it's just one of those things where you're not making enough money as you used to. I mean, right now, you can make more money on Twitch.
Yeah.
And in a day than you can make any time in YouTube for a month. So
yeah. Yeah, 100%. And the apocalypses are ridiculous. But we're going to draw the line right there because our time is up.
That was a half an hour, me rambling on about my failure. Holy shit.
It wasn't a failure.
I know.
Don't remind me. I was successful.
You are what you eat?
Success?
Ass?
I piss excellence.
So, yeah.
And that's a wrap.